welcome to Mr. Wood Studios. Today, we are here with one of the professionals in the building and the road construction. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Please, your name?
My name is Engineer Muhammad Abdullahi.
Engineer Muhammad Abdullahi. That's great. Can you tell us something more about yourself?
Well, as the name with the title connotes, I am just a road and building consultant, as well as a road and building contractor. Basically, I do roads, designs, road consultancies, as well as building designs, building consultancy, and building construction. So anybody who has a client who comes with any of his requests, i.e. building or roads, whatever is related to the built environment, we are there to give those professional advice or suggestions to the person.
With this, we want to concentrate more on the building side.
Yeah.
Because in Ghana here, we have a lot of challenges in the building construction field. We have a lot of issues. So with your profession, we want you to advise us and give us tips, variable tips that will help a house owner who is planning to build a house, so that we will not be into one of the victims. Can you tell us some of the work you have done in this country, Ghana?
Oh, as for the houses or buildings, I've done a lot. Some of the clients don't want their names to be in the public domain, okay. So I'll restrict them. But I was among the cluster of engineers who constructed the Adenta, Ayimensa, Ebri, Kitasi, all the way to Manfi project, the road, from 2004 to 2007. I was with my grandfather, who was the AESL director for the construction of the Flagstaff House, the one that house.
Wow!
He was with AESL and I was with the China Water, who were doing the road network. He was also supervising the Flagstaff House construction. And I've done some other construction like the Abokubi Stadium Complex for Accra Lions. And as for that, our own Asamoah's Paradise mineral or bottled water company at Hilton. Did some works for Bomat Farms. It's a big company in somewhere around the Dobro area. They are also into fruit processing and dry fruits. I've done some filling stations for Petrosol. Then
you are a great man. You are a great man. Viewers, today we are lucky to have Engineer Muhammad here. All your problems have been solved. Keep watching this video. Share it to your family and friends. Don't mix up the beat. Subscribe to Mr. Wood Studios on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Engineer, what's the difference between civil engineer, building engineer, and a mason?
Well, a mason is somebody who may have learned on the road, on the field. Somebody who knows how to mix mortar, who knows how to produce blocks, who knows how to do casting of concrete, and general building works, as in the physical feature you see. And so such a person is in Ghana that we have not actually moved into a certain gear of professionalizing them to a certain level. When you go to Togo and you see that it's like the Polytechnic. They will run from the technical schools all the way to the tertiary. So they come out so fine in what they are doing, how to interpret measurements, how to do alignment, setting out. So some of them, they wouldn't be directed by their superiors when they are giving the drawings to do this. But that's basically what they do. They are into the physical construction, block laying, mortar, screeding, casting of the concrete, doing the rendering, doing the finite windows and everything that is related with the masonry works. So an engineer is somebody who has gone to school to practice or to be taught in civil engineering works. And that person can never be called an engineer, like with the ING title that we have, except that the person might have would have gone to the Ghana Institute of Engineering to be certified. So you can have the ENGIEMEER, just like an engineer, but to have the ING as an engineer title, you need to have been certified by the institution in the country that certifies you to be a professional practicing engineer. So that is the basic thing that you need to get.
Most of times in Ghana here, when you get something small and you want to get some small rooms like 2-bedroom, self-contained and other stuffs, the house owner will go and call a mason. I want to build my house.
Yeah, you be that.
Is it advisable?
So you see, mostly you see the clients sometimes because of cheap labor, they go in and pick these masons to do designs for them, maybe 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom. But you need to have a drawing first of all. That's why whenever they are doing their construction, you see that the assembly will come and write stop work, produce or permits.
Yes.
Because the person may not have gone through that training to be able to do a drawing and then factored all the environmental aeration, the north cardinal points, a lot of things go into construction of a building. I will put up a building here, and I want viewers to listen to this carefully. When I pick your land, I look at your north cardinal point. That is something that we explain.
Okay.
I'm able to establish the direction of the wind and then where the sun sets in the morning. So if I'm doing a building for you like this, I'm also to put your bedrooms around where the sun sets in the morning. But at that time, the sun is not too hot. Yeah. But after it goes after 12 o'clock, all the way to like 4, when you touch your wall, so the wall is very warm. So if your bedroom is located to the west, it means that if you don't have an air condition, mostly people don't want to stay in their room because of the kind of heat that is being generated by those walls. The walls absorb the heat in the afternoon, then they emit back in the evenings. So when I have this kind of cardinal point, I know where the beds are located. I mostly put your laundry, or I put your kitchen, those sanitary wares in that particular area. Then I make sure that your bedrooms are where you need your peace of mind, like your study on the other side. And these are not something you can just find by just picking anybody.
Then most of us have been done a big mistake. And after this video, I don't think we will repeat that mistake again. Why most of times construction sites are fenced? We normally see that one. Yes. Why is it so?
Yeah, you know, when let's say on a bigger project, you have to fence. Well, we call something the possession of site. When the client gives you his land, you need to possess it.
Okay.
So as a contractor, you are possessing that site until you are done, and you hand over to the client. So when there's any accident on that particular land, being it fatalities or any physical or social distraction, you are liable to pay. So you are also trying that you fence the whole place, and then you have actually incentivized your people against, with safety, so that no intruder comes in unaware. So that when you are lifting some heavy duty or heavy equipment and you are moving with your crane and things like that, you can't just allow anybody who is just passing by to move into the side, and maybe one thing will be falling from the top or something, and that person may find himself wanting. So you make sure that at least, apart from theft, because once you fence the place, you're actually warding off thievery from your land. But the most important one is security, safety of your workers who are working, and the safety of those who are outside. So that's the most reason why we fence our. So that sometimes when we finish the building, it becomes new to the environment. And then aesthetically wise, and then environmental considerations. Some of the places you don't just fence, because you'll be generating a lot of dust. So you see that some of the fence, after the fence, there's something we put at the top, like a net, to trap all the dust that is being generated within the site. And so maybe your workers will have their nose masks and things on, but then those outside will not have that luxury of having those things. So you are actually entrapping every hazardous substance within your site. So you don't actually injure anybody who's outside your fence or your catchment area.
Why most of times engineers use quarry stones instead of the one you can pick them anywhere. Because when you go to some of our local communities, people go just move around and pick stones anywhere. They were able to use it to build there.
Yeah, but you can't get the quantity you need unless you keep on accumulating it for a very long time. Unless of course you are doing, maybe you have actually employed some local guys who will breaking some of the stones around for you. But when you buy, you see the quarry has, in fact, the quarry is from igneous rock, and the strength that you attain from a quarry is not the same as the one you get from the maybe your community. We have what we call the weathered rock. Weathered rock, when you apply certain force, it will break. But when you're using the quarry, you need to use machines to be able to crush them even to the barest minimum. And when you are doing that, the determination of the concrete strength you are doing, let's say you are going to do a slab, and they say that the strength they need is about 25 newtons per meter square. So that is what you need to do your design. You have to get a quarry, you have to get a quarry dust, and in some instances you have to use the sand. The reason why we don't use any sand around is that you pick any sand around the community, it's mixed with silt and then clay. Those silt and clay, when you are doing your building, especially when you are doing plastering, you see that after plastering you see a lot of cracks. It's not the mason didn't do well. It's now that the clay is drying. So when clay dries, it shrinks.
Okay.
When it is wet, it expands. So unless of course your building be in a wet sitting forever, but as long as your
that is not possible.
Of course. So if you look at people who are staying from the Pram area, from 25 going to Pram, they have what we call the high mattress clay.
Okay.
It's a dark clay, and it expands so fast. So I remember when we were doing the Pram, one of the secondary schools, 2014. My late grandfather asked me to go and check the foundation for them. So what we did, we took the sand and the clay, we brought to the laboratory to do some lab tests to see the extent of expansion. Then we advised them that they should dig the foundation, they should go below the foundation, and then now bring gravel about 2 feet to fill the whole foundation before they even put the block work, so that the expansion and contraction underneath the foundation will not actually affect your block work. And these are not things that I'm saying you can just. So we have done, before I go to my stage, I've done the mason works before. La Palma Royal Beach Hotel, the one you see at Labaji, it was a T-junction.
Yes.
It was one of the first works that I did with my team in 1999 to 2000 before I started school. But then I was a carpenter.
Okay.
And then I worked with the masons all the time. So I learned all those skills before I went to actualize it in the university, to understand all those things I was doing about, let's say, 28 years ago. But I actually put finality to what, okay, what I was doing, this is what it means, and why we were doing this and why we were doing that. So application of a practical and then theory to come to make sense of whatever I was doing.
That's good. Don't you think building is too expensive in Ghana? Can you give us some tips in which we can build a house with low budget?
Well, the low budget will only be determined about the size of the building you want to put up. Because if you are supposed to do standard concrete work, let's say if 1 cubic is like 1 meter by 1 meter by 1 meter. If that cubic, you are supposed to have about 6 bags of cement, and you decide to go and use 3 bags of cement because you want to have a cheap work done, you will finish your building, and almost every time when I'm enjoying my building, every 2 months you have to do renovation. You see some crack here, but we'll talk about that one. You see every day there's something wrong with your building because you didn't do what you're supposed to do to get your building. And mostly, if you get the professionals to advise you from day one, you will think that the building is expensive in terms of maybe his professional charges. I'm not sure any engineer or contractor who is reasonable will charge you more than 15% of the project sum. Never.
Okay.
So, but you see that when you are done with the building, you are in a very sound state. In fact, I think you might have heard or read about something I was saying the last time.
Yeah.
Where I have a building I did for one of the blaster players, name withheld. The wall, that's
the one that is legal.
The North Legon.
Okay, no problem.
Around the IPMC.
Okay.
There's so viewers who are what can have access. I mean, they can access that place. Just suppose North Legon, IPMC. The building is so white. For the other buildings behind or adjoining to the land, they are always suffering with the same wall. So we did one particular wall separating us and the person. Our side of the wall has never received any peeling of due to mold growth or plastering or painting. But the other side of the building is receiving painting almost every 2-3 months.
With this, is it a spiritual or because most of the buildings are facing damages, yes, like salty water? I don't know whether it's a moisture or something.
Yes. So that is the reason why.
Is it a spiritual or it's our own mistake?
You know, when we were in school, those who did science, I mean, all of us did some basic science. There's something called capillarity. Capillarity is the ability of water to rise in tubes. So when water is rising through any dry area, the more it gets any dry area, the more the water will attack the place because the land is saturated. So most importantly, sometimes when you're not even constructing a storage building, it's always proper that you engage the materials engineer to check whether the land has water. We call it the water table. If the water table is high, it means that you have a lot of ingress of water in your building. So if the water is even high, you have to take that water to the CSIR and then check whether the water is without any chemical or is so concentrated with chemical. The one I did for the player I'm talking about, yes, we had high salt concentration in the water. So I did 2 polytanks. And I added what we learned in school, reverse osmosis. So when I put the water in the first polytank, then it will go through the system, the reverse osmosis system, and then it refines the water. So the wastewater rather goes back into the soil, and then it is brought back into the polytank. So the second water going to the second polytank is devoid of any salt. So even with that construction, I didn't use any water. People just go and carry some water from that and do this construction. But in this one, what we did the first thing was the borehole. We tested the water, and then we used the sieved, or let me say, the refined water, which was without any salt concentration, to do the construction for the building. And because we had the knowledge of the fact that there was salt in the land, when we were doing the first 1 meter of the building, including the external wall, we did a certain treatment for the walls. And then before we plastered. So that treatment would always prevent what you have been seeing in people's homes. So I don't do it aftermath. We try to do right from the day you have started the construction.
You have to do all these checks before, yes, you start your building.
Yes.
Let's say North Legon is within Accra.
Yes.
And Accra, we have sea here.
Yes.
What about those who are outside Accra and also facing the same challenges?
The one I'm talking about has nothing to do with the sea. When you go to Kumasi and you are doing a construction, in fact, we did a 12 soil tests for one architect in Kumasi. All the 12 soil tests that we did, and we did the water test, I think 9 of the tests was salt into the Ashanti region.
Meaning it doesn't matter where you are.
No, it doesn't matter. You have the concentration is in Accra. Anywhere you are closer to the sea, there is a concentration. That's why whenever they are doing, see, someone will say, oh, the plastering that you are doing for my building is too thick. But if we are putting up any building along the coast, or let's say Labadi, Teshinungwa, Twibleo, Dansuma, Jamestown, Odoko, Koligwa, that area, the concrete that you are using for your columns, sometimes you have a minimum of about 4 cm thick. It means that it doesn't allow the humid, the air that is blowing from the sea is salty. That's why when you go to the sea, sometimes you go to the beach, you are not swimming.
Yes.
But your friends, as you are sitting down, you touch your skin, you feel the salt.
So, it's good we meet you today in Mr. Wood Studios. Engineer.
Yes, sir.
If let's say I've done a mistake, I didn't watch Mr. Wood Studios with Engineer Mahama.
Yeah.
So I have already built a house,
yeah, and
now I'm facing that challenge. The wall is damaging. I decided to lay tiles, yeah, to a certain level. With a trigger of eye, you will see it has been jumped the tiles. Yeah. Then I also lay the tiles again. Yeah. Finally, they will tell me go and buy rocks and paste, all sort of things. Yeah. Is there any hope for anyone who is facing that challenge? Is there any solution?
Yeah, just recently, a next friend of mine in Salon was facing the same problem after putting up a building. So I engaged my team from North Legon, and they came in and they remedied the situation for the person. Sometimes you have to look at the land and then the water level. Sometimes you may, I think when we're doing the ECG regional office in Kufuria, I was staying with my grandmother, I was helping them through the construction. It was a highly waterlogged area. What we did was that we created a sump. A sump is like you have dug a well. And then, so if you have dug an empty well, so the same capillary I was talking about, every water which would in your land will find its way into that well. So the more you pump that water into any drain around, the more you lower the water level in your compound. This one is a free So constantly, as long as you pump your water into from the well into a drain or something outside, or people are even coming to find that water to use, it means that the water table, if this is the water level in your house, because you have actually created a new hole, the water within the area finds its way into the new hole and is being pumped out. So this will automatically reduce. When it reduces, it means that your building will not be having any immediate contact with the water. That's why sometimes it's always better that when you do a building, around the building you create drains.
Okay.
So that any water that is coming closer is already taken by the drains and goes. That building I'm talking about will have something called a French drain. Okay. French drain means that the whole place is waterlogged. But we did a blind drain that you will not see. The drains are within the building, down. So as the water is coming, it gets into that French drain, it moves back into the gutters.
So when I went there, I will not see any drain.
You won't see any drain.
Meanwhile, there's a drain.
There's a drain which is called the French drain. It's a blind one, you don't see.
That's the advantage for each and everyone to contact Engineer Mahama before building up your story building and all sort of construction works, even including roads.
Of course.
Engineer, we normally face. I remember when I was in Kumasi, there was a breaking news at this place, as of roundabout. They said there's a storage building there, it has been collapsed.
Yeah, it has collapsed.
And it was, I can describe it as it was a dangerous disaster. That was the first time I heard. But lately, I heard it again at Achimota. They said Mekom
disaster.
What's the problem? Is there any spirituality or is our own mistakes? Why building always collapse? It's ongoing.
Yeah.
Why?
I'm sure the country, we have not actually focused on dealing with the situation. Because last year, I said on TV that most of the storage buildings in Accra are standing by the grace of God. I think within the next 6 weeks, no, within the next 2 weeks, there were 6 buildings that collapsed. 2 in Accra, 1 around Ofanko, 1 at UDS, 6-story building in the UDS.
Yes.
All came down. And then I think Joy FM called me that, what do I see that made those kind of... And I said, some of the building, in fact, I had a building on my WhatsApp. Okay. Somebody just took a picture for me about 2 weeks ago. It's scary. It's on the 4th floor already. They are still constructing around Kwabia. So you ask yourself, who is issuing the permits? But you see, the dangerous aspect for anybody who is going to rent or buy an already built apartment is that you don't know what has gone into the building. Yeah? Yes. So what you have to do as a first time user of any building, no white man will come to Ghana to buy a structure, either a factory or warehouse, without doing a structural integrity test.
Meaning, if I want to buy a house from recognized or registered estate developer, so I have to do something on it before I should buy.
You have to do that.
Tell us more.
You engage like the white normal or the investors normally do in Ghana. They have maybe somebody has abandoned a warehouse or a factory, they want to tend to something. They will definitely call on us to go and do what we call the Soci Integrity test. You have to check whether the foundation is sitting on a sound floor or a ground. You have to check whether the concrete that they used is okay. You have to check whether, the whole structure. You see, there was somebody who called me after watching me. He's a big lawyer in Ghana.
Okay.
It's from the Ekrofon area. Let me say Ekwapim area. From the mountains area there. We went to check on a building for him, and the building was so shambolic. By that time, the man has already spent almost like 2 million Ghana cedis in the building. He ended up the Ghana Institute of Engineering, where I recommend.
For us not fall into a victim of a disaster, how can one contact Engineer Mahama?
Okay, I think we have some contact that we can give. My operations manager's number, and then he's one of my site engineers who deputized for me for runs. And the operations manager's number is 0244 20 26 34. He's by name Eric Baini.
Mr. Eric Baini. In case I called and I don't have access to talk directly to Engineer Mahama, should I worry?
No, don't worry. Because those are the guys who are actually with me all the time.
Okay.
Because of maybe my series of meetings, they normally can pick calls. Mostly my number is hidden small.
Do you have additional number?
Yes, I have. I have one which is 020 777 8036. It's called Javed.
Javed. Any email address available?
You can use amahama78@yahoo.com.
amahama78@yahoo.com.
Or matras.
Matras.
Matras ENG.
Matras ENG.
So I can matrasENG@yahoo.com or gmail.com.
Which advice will you give it to someone who is planning to build a house, either storage building or any kind of building?
There's a very critical thing that you have to let the person, everybody know. The land acquisition is a problem. When the person is buying the land or he's already bought the land, he should look for, if it's us or any other person that he trusts, that the person, the surveyor, will actually go to the site and pick the 4 corners and then confirm whether they are the same coordinates on the site plan that he has been given, the indenture. Because sometimes you buy the land here, the land is at Awushi. The coordinates show that you are at Amasaman, or you are in Dansawan, or you are in Dansuma.
Wow.
Sometimes maybe 5 houses away, maybe it's by the roadside. So they pick that coordinate, they show this is the land. Maybe when you actually come to plot the land, or you are actually in the court for maybe we are now arguing that the land that they gave to you was not the land, because when they came, somebody is also there to put up a bond. So they will tell you where is the coordinate. The court will only work with your document that you have. When they plot and the plot is about 5 houses away or 10 houses away, that's what they go to work with. So whenever you have a land, get the surveyor to confirm whether the indenture you have, the coordinate conform to whatever is on the site. That's the first thing that everybody who has any land that is going to put up a bond should do. Then secondly, when you are putting it up, just look for the professionals to just guide you through your drawing and then the construction. When you do that, you sleep sound. But if you don't do that, you can only be lucky when you are putting up a building in a dry area, which is fairly dry. One of the signs that you have to look for when you are putting up or you are buying the land, when you see what we call them 40, that ant hill,
yes.
It's a good land.
Anytime
you see any land with the ant hill,
it's a good land.
It's a good land, but there's no that land is not swampy. It's not water. It's
not
water land.
This is a free gift.
Or cassava. When you see cassava, yeah, cassava doesn't do well in water areas. Whenever you see cassava farm, you will see the ant hill around.
What are the challenges facing by the engineers, especially in the building site?
No, when you have the land, you are putting on the structure, you don't have any challenge. If you have applied, so what the first thing you do is that you have to get to the assembly to submit your document that you want to put on the building, and then you go through the process, do your payment. When you're done with the payment and assembly, then you do your construction. So for me, I don't see any challenge, unless of course there's litigation on the land. Otherwise, any other construction, if you want us to do 10-story building for you, it's not a problem to us at all.
You are watching Mr. Wood Studios. Today we have Engineer Mahama here. He has given us a valuable and insight tips that will help us in building our houses. Subscribe and share this video to your good families and friends. Don't watch alone. Thank you, Engineer Mahama.
Welcome.